Welcome to Big Ted's Home and Garden. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to change the fuse in a UK 3-pin plug. Now if for some reason an appliance stops working, the easiest thing to check, or the first thing that I always check, is the fuse, because it's a really easy job. It's a 5-minute job, anyone can do it. Now this video is not aimed at people who've got multimeters or qualified electricians. This is aimed at people like my kids who've just gone off to university. It's just a simple step-by-step guide showing you how to check whether your fuse is working or not. Okay, so to check whether your fuse is okay, you're going to have to get the plug from the appliance which has stopped working. Now most appliances these days in the UK come with a moulded plug, but you may well find with older appliances you've got a plug which looks like this, which you actually have to take apart. I'll show you how to do both. You're going to need a small flat-bladed screwdriver, and you will need some new fuses. Fuses are really cheap. I'll put a link on the description to a reputable supplier who can supply you with a mixed packet of fuses for about £2. All right, it's always worth having some in the house because you never know when you're going to need them. Okay, so we'll start with the moulded fuse. The moulded fuse is the easiest one. Basically, you take your flat-bladed screwdriver and you'll see that there's 2 holes at either end. All you've got to do is lift this flap up, lever it out using the flat-bladed screwdriver, and then you can see the fuse underneath. Again, use your flat-bladed screwdriver and lever it out and just take it out. Now you can see that this one is a 13 amp fuse. It's from a kettle, so we need to replace it with a 13 amp fuse. If we use a smaller fuse, what will happen is that when the appliance is drawing its full current, now for this particular kettle it's not far off 13 amps, it'll melt the inside the fuse. There's a very thin wire, which when the current passes through it, if the current's too high, it melts the fuse. Okay, now to check whether our fuse was okay, what we need to do is replace it with an identical fuse. So I'm going to take that one out and we'll get a new 13 amp fuse, and that goes into the 2 clips, push it in, and then all we need to do is put the cover back on, and there we are, it's done. Then plug it in. If your kettle works, it was your fuse. On older appliances you might find that you actually need to take the plug apart. Again, it's a very simple job. You'll see that between the 3 pins there's a screw in the centre. What we need to do is undo that screw. Sorry, I'll try and move my hand out of the way. And then you should be able to take the back off. Okay, so you can now see the inside of the plug, and now all we need to do is lever, stuck a little bit, the fuse out. And you see this one is a 3 amp fuse, so we need to replace that with another 3 amp fuse. Okay, and then we simply push it back into there between the clips, put the back of the plug back on, and then screw it closed again. This screw goes into the back of the moulding. Okay, and then that one's done as well. Again, we can plug that into the socket and try. In this case it's a lamp. If the lamp comes on, the problem was with the fuse. One thing I should point out is if you're replacing a small fuse like this, the 3 amp fuse that was in this lamp, don't be tempted to replace it with a bigger fuse, like a 13 amp fuse for example. If there is a fault in your appliance and you've put a fuse that's too big in, what will happen, it will draw a big current, a current that's too big for the wiring inside the appliance, and that can lead to overheating and the whole thing can catch fire. Okay, it's not worth burning your house down for the sake of a 25p fuse. Okay, so it's always worth having a small selection, just one or two of each size. Like I said, there's a link in the description. It's £2. You get 10 fuses for that, something like that. Okay, just get yourself some, put them in a drawer somewhere, and then next time you need to think about changing a fuse, you've got some. And that's all there is to it. Now, if your fuses are blowing regularly, that would indicate that there is a problem with your appliance, and it might be worth either getting it checked out, or in most cases these days, it's simply not worth it. Most things are almost consumable, aren't they? But I wouldn't want to keep using something that's blowing fuses on a regular basis. So I hope you found this useful. If you have, leave a thumbs up. If you've got any questions, leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to Big Ted's Home and Garden.